global happenings today. We communicate, we analyze global news. Stay tuned.
Hello, beautiful people. Welcome back to our channel. This is breaking. A lot is happening around Nnamdikanu. Don't forget that some few days ago, we did give you an update on the fact that Nnamdikanu filed an appeal over his fundamental human rights, and he said quite a lot. And what he wanted was, one of the things he wanted was for there to be a command for Sokoto prison to be able to transport him from Sokoto to Abuja for him to, be present for his appeal, his court hearing. Well, the court have decided to speak concerning that matter today, a few minutes ago. Then, of course, you're going to also get to see a video behind where his constituency's lawmaker representing his constituency, his lawyers were also present in Sokoto prison. He sent a message down mentioning how, the journey of how injustice began, sent a message down. All of that we're going to discuss much later. Then, of course, there's a news making round of what is going on in Sokoto prison, allegedly so. We are yet to verify that. Then one of Nigerian lawmakers have said to speak, not even from Southeast, but said something very powerful in favor of Nnamdikanu. Let's dive into the news to find out exactly what is happening in Abuja Division of Court today. So a few minutes ago. Now, according to Abuja Division of the Court of Appeal, on Friday, struck out an appeal filed by the convicted leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB Nnamdikanu, challenging alleged violations of his fundamental right by the federal government. The Director General of the Department of State Services, DSS, and the Attorney General of the Federation, AGF, were listed as respondents in the case. Now, the three-member panel of the appellant court threw out the case on the grounds that it has become an academic exercise, as Kanu had already been convicted and sentenced by the Federal High Court in Abuja. In his lead judgment, delivered by Justice Bologoromo Ugo, the court noted that Kanu's lawyer, Maxwell Obara, confirmed that his client is already serving his sentence at the Sokoto Correctional Center. It held that, in view of the development, a prayer in the appeal seeking Kanu's transfer from DSS custody to Kuje prison could not be granted. Besides, the court held that, since Kanu had earlier expressed preference for prison custody, his conviction and current remand at the Sokoto Correctional Facility satisfied that desire. Consequently, it struck out the case for want of merit. The embattled IPOB leader had in the appeal challenged the July 3rd judgment of Justice Taiwo of the trial court, which dismissed the suit he filed for the enforcement of his fundamental rights. It will be recalled that the High Court had on November 20th, convicted Kanu on a 7-count terrorism charge that the federal government preferred against him. Justice James Omotosho, who held that the prosecution proved the elements of the charge beyond a reasonable doubt, sentenced him to life imprisonment. And a lot has been said, of course, very quickly, what is making round on social media, we don't know how true this is alleged that two staffers from Sokoto Correctional Center of the opinion that Nnamdikanu has some sort of insight, has some wisdom that is alien to human, and that such a man who speaks the truth, what he has been saying is mirroring the society and situation we find in Nigeria today. He shouldn't actually be in prison. He should be walking free as a freeborn. Wow. Well, then it's all alleged because we have not proven it to be true yet, but trending on social media. Meanwhile, one of the lawmakers, in fact, shockingly, is actually the son of El Rufai, the former Kaduna State governor, decided to speak on behalf and in favor of Nnamdikanu during their plenary, and yet the powerful statement he made in his defense. We'll come back for more on this. Please.
Boko Haram, I believe his name is Hussaini Ismail. He was convicted for 20 years by a high court. He was a Boko Haram terrorist. Mazi Nnamdikanu was convicted, I think, last week, and his own conviction said life sentence. I don't understand why one terrorist is getting 20 years and the other is getting a life sentence if you're saying that. I think Pastor made a good point. There's this idea that justice is served differently, and it affects the problem. Mr. Speaker, I'll conclude by saying this. I've been an advocate of state police. I've sought the wisdom of more experienced members like Honorable Sada Soli, Honorable Adodogwa, even yourself and the Speaker. I think the definition of insanity is doing the same thing over and over and over again and expecting different results. Somebody said that earlier. We cannot be sitting in Abuja and expecting operations to be efficient in Benue. We have to go back to communal policing. You that are older than us always tell us there was a time when if a guest comes to a community, everybody knows him. We have to get the traditional leaders involved and go back to state policing. This parliament, under your leadership, and I know the excellent work you're doing in the Constitutional Review Committee, is looking at that. Sir, no time for election talk now. We have to tell the public a timeline to roll this out. The fear that governors will abuse it always shocks me because they already have all that power. I'll finally end by putting myself in trouble as usual. The North has an issue. My honorable sister mentioned why we've become a breeding ground for such things. This is why. We are not sending our children to school. Of late, you have bandits on TikTok holding monies. The younger people, younger than myself, that have no employment and no skill because we've neglected them. It's a failure on all our parts over the years. Mr. Speaker, these young people go on TikTok and see a criminal holding minted cash. He's suddenly exciting. You want to emulate him. Mr. Speaker, we can do whatever we want to do in terms of FDI, IGR, investments, but we are failing in our primary duty, which is to protect the people we serve. We must increase the welfare of police officers. Recruitment should not be by allocation, sir. Each state should provide the exact amount of numbers. It should be digitized. We should look for young Nigerians that want to join the army to serve, not because it's a job that's seen as something else. I'm sorry if I spoke too friendly, Mr. Speaker. We are relying on you and the members of the Constitutional Review Committee to not only follow up with the President's excellent announcement, but to finally roll out state police in this country. I hope I made my point, and I really appreciate the session today. And once again, sorry I came late. Thank you so much.
30 seconds more. You still have another 30 seconds.
Oh, I thought I didn't have time, Mr. Speaker. Fine, with the 30 seconds, let me... Sir? What? No, sir. I think the reason why I spoke like that, Mr. Speaker, is the passion is enough. You said something that I appreciated, and Honorable Benson said something earlier, and I was at fault. Shagaya and I were joking about something, and then you said this is not a funny matter. It's not. I also would like to implore all of us here. This is not a time for weddings, for events, as you rightly said, for dinners or public. You know, we should show that.
Time up, Honorable Rufai. Thank you very much.
Thank you, sir.